White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt is not doing a lot of press briefings lately, but she did do one a few hours ago, and she was confronted about a bunch of different things, which she very much doesn't like. I have to tell you, I can sort of understand why Karoline Leavitt is not doing a lot of these. They're going worse and worse for her. But she was asked, is Donald Trump planning to intervene to save the Tate brothers, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate, who have recently been arrested again for a litany of very serious charges. And Karoline Leavitt seems to be saying, no, Donald Trump is not going to get involved in this, which is similar to what Marco Rubio recently said. I think that they're just realizing these guys are toxic. These guys are probably serious criminals, although, of course, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. There's no question about that. But they are realizing that the goose is cooked.
Danny.
Thanks, Caroline. Is President Trump or the administration, do they have any plans to intervene in the extradition process for the Tate brothers?
No, already answered that question. Elizabeth.
Trump does not want to get deep in the taint. That is absolutely for sure. And Marco Rubio also indicating we want nothing to do with that. Now, with that out of the way, a really important topic came up. This is just of critical importance. Why does Saudi Arabia get a civilian nuclear deal with Trump, but Iran doesn't? And Karoline Leavitt, of course, gives an explanation that makes it all sound based on the empirical realities of the situation and what's best for the United States. But I think there's a better answer as to why Saudi Arabia gets a civilian nuke deal, but Iran isn't allowed to have one. And I'll give you that answer in a moment.
Ask you one other question. Sure. Just playing devil's advocate. Why does Saudi Arabia get a civilian nuclear deal, but Iran doesn't get a civilian nuclear deal?
Well, again, this agreement is still being worked out. Well, it will eventually, hopefully, be finalized with the condition that the president spoke about this morning. But this agreement in particular, as it's been discussed thus far, does give priority access for American companies in the Saudi nuclear energy program, which will ultimately benefit American industry workers and supply chains. So the deal that has been discussed thus far and will continue to be discussed absolutely puts America first, and that's obviously very important to this president. Ed.
Let me translate that for you. Okay. The Saudi deal is good for Trump and his cronies, and an Iran deal with Iran having nukes wouldn't be. Saudi Arabia is dumping and has dumped money into Jared Kushner's new fund, relatively new fund. And there are personal reasons. Remember, drain the swamp? Well, the swamp has been filled. That's what this is really about. And Karoline Leavitt, about that, this is just wild. She confirms that Donald Trump is unilaterally changing the terms of the Saudi nuclear deal with Truth Social posts without even contacting Saudi officials. Dear God.
Just to continue on the Saudi nuclear deal, do the Saudis agree with this interpretation since it wasn't part of the initial agreement? And has the president talked to MBS since this new condition was announced?
As you know, the president just put out this statement a few hours ago. I don't believe he's had a call with MBS in the hour.
Understand, he put it out on Truth Social. He is announcing policy and unilaterally changing policy with posts to Truth Social. What?
Since, however, this is something that he has raised in previous conversations and has also said many times in the past. John, in the back.
A typical Trump negotiation. I decided by myself and posted it to Truth Social. This is not getting a lot of attention. There's no super hot headline here, but this is completely beyond the pale. And it is counter to many of the promises that Donald Trump lined up when he became a politician after coming down the golden escalator and accusing many Mexicans of being rapists without evidence in 2015. It was about drain the swamp. It's not going to be business as usual. It won't be cronyism. It won't be nepotism. His family, meanwhile, is doing business with the Saudis. The Saudis are getting goodies. He's announcing policy changes on Truth Social. And Karoline Leavitt, God bless her, I'm kidding, is in the position of relatively infrequently as it stands right now, because she doesn't seem to want to do too many of these press briefings, having to defend this stuff. The topic of manufacturing came up while Karoline Leavitt was doing this press briefing. And she comes up with the whopper that the manufacturing industry is thriving like never before. Now, if you watch this show and you have the facts, you know that manufacturing employment is down 73,000 jobs since Donald Trump took office. Trump said he would be the fertilization president. Ugh, I'm sorry. That's disgusting. Trump did say that, though. And he said he would be the manufacturing president. And we have fewer manufacturing jobs today than when Trump came into office. But Karoline doesn't care. She says it's all so good.
The Trump administration is setting up American manufacturers and workers to thrive like never before.
It's a very long, slow lead-in. He's setting them up to thrive when someone else is president, I guess. And importantly, another relevant detail with the whole manufacturing job thing is that for all of the talk of MAGA, of bringing the factories back home and bringing manufacturing back home, a lot of people don't want these jobs, at least not at the salaries that are being offered. There's a report that there are hundreds of thousands right now, open jobs, hundreds of thousands of open manufacturing and factory jobs in the United States. One report said 500,000, another I think said 250,000. And they're just open. People are not at the wage being offered interested in doing those jobs. And manufacturing employment is down. Another promise. Now, I know the tariffs get a lot of headlines. I'm going to be the peace president, but I started a war, gets a lot of headlines. I'm going to end the Ukraine-Russia conflict on day one, gets a lot of headlines. Important promises that Trump has failed on. But the manufacturing jobs is a really significant one because so much of the economic sort of framework that a lot of Republicans are signing up for is if it weren't for these stupid Democrats, we would have brought manufacturing and factories back home already. There's hundreds of thousands of jobs right now and they can't fill them. So something else is going on here. Finally, Karoline Leavitt warns us. Donald Trump is getting impatient. You know what happens when he gets impatient. The ketchup starts flying. Trump wants the Save America Act passed right away before the House and Senate recess in August. Uh-oh. Well, what's going to happen?
Remind me?
Leader Thune, his patience is running out.
Look, the president spoke about this directly yesterday. His patience is running out. He wants to see as much of the Save America passed as possible by the August recess. He knows that's what the American people want to see passed. He was just traveling on the road yesterday, spoke about this, and there was a very loud applause from the people in the audience, the everyday Americans, because
the trained seals clapped like trained seals.
Voter ID is common sense. They want proof of citizenship in our elections, and the president feels very strongly about that. Remind me.
Well, you know what? Even Republicans are realizing this is not a bill they want to support. Trump is losing patience with John Thune, the Senate Majority Leader. Oh, no. Well, to some degree, Republicans are realizing that bill is going to go over like a lead balloon with a lot of people and is realistically only going to drag down Republicans in November. They don't want anything to do with it, at least some of them. But Trump is losing patience. Well, I think Trump is simply going to have to wait. A lot of people carrying debt don't think to themselves, I'm in trouble. They're not necessarily behind on payments. They're working. They're kind of managing. But if you're carrying credit card balances, personal loans, collections, medical bills, the question is whether your current plan is getting you out fast enough or just kind of keeping you busy. That is what our sponsor, PDS Debt, can help you figure out. PDS Debt gives you a free 30-second assessment. You can compare your current path with their customized debt relief options. They will look at your unsecured debt. They'll use financial data to personalize a solution that will work for you and show you what you might qualify for before you have to decide anything. The programs really are designed to just reduce what you owe, simplify multiple payments into one lower monthly payment, and work towards being debt-free. There's no minimum credit score. Savings start the day you complete the assessment. And PDS Debt is top rated in the industry with thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Lots of people in my audience use PDS Debt. And we looked at the numbers for people coming just from my show. It turns out the average David Pakman Show viewer who uses PDS Debt saves an average of $24,994. Get your free 30-second personalized assessment today at pdsdebt.com/PakmanYT. The link is in the description.